of self-testing of quantum correlations, Matt McCabe also proposed another scheme a year later. It came out fairly recently, but it's been on the archive for a long time. So he proposed a scheme that used essentially measurement-based computation again, combined with various self-testing ideas, to use, instead of using two provers, it used some polynomial number of provers to verify the results of the quantum computation. Since then, there's been a fair amount of movement. I'll kind of skip over this. There's been various different schemes proposed in order to be able to verify quantum computation using multiple servers. This is kind of nice in that it doesn't have to rely on the servers not being able to communicate beyond the end of the protocol. So in the blind case, if they could talk after the protocol, then the blindness is compromised. But if they talk after you verified that the computation was correct, that doesn't change your assessment that the computation was correct. Right? You've got the right answer. It doesn't matter that they now talk. So an alternate way of doing such tests is to encode the computation you want to perform as an instance of the local Hamiltonian problem. So here's a bunch of results that say that you can encode a quantum computation as the ground state of a particular Hamiltonian that has only local terms in it, so each term in the Hamiltonian acts on only some constant number of qubits. And if you do that, you can have the server prepare this ground state of this Hamiltonian that encodes the quantum computation, and you can use that essentially as a witness that a particular outcome to that computation is correct. So you ask the server, you can have the client choose their computation, and they ask the server what's the outcome of this computation, and then with that outcome in mind, they say, well, also I want you to encode that as ground state with that outcome, and you send it to me, and I'm going to test it. So what you can do is, well, the server could encode the ground state and send it to the client to test. And the problem with that is just that the work the client would have to do is comparable to the entire computation. So you don't really gain much by that. However, it turns out that there are extremely efficient proofs for proofs that a particular Hamiltonian has a ground state below a certain energy, and that can be implemented with multiple provers. So the basic idea is that you have the server prepare this ground state, then they encode it into some quantum error correction code, and give a share of that quantum error correction code to each of 4 or maybe 5 different servers, and then the client goes back and forth between the servers, asking them for only a small number of qubits from that witness state. And based on measurements of those either performed by the client or performed on the servers themselves, the client is able to verify that in fact this witness state satisfies the properties that guarantee that this output was indeed a possible output of the circuit with hyperfidelity. So this is another way of verifying quantum computation. It's kind of different from the others in that it's not blind at all. All of the other protocols that have been proposed for blind quantum computing for verifiable quantum computing have kind of turned out to, by the way, also be blind. And so this is kind of a first instance where it's not. And an additional kind of interesting feature of it is that it takes place after the protocol has been performed. Sorry, after the computation has been performed. So you ask the server to perform the computation and prepare the witness state, and then you're going to test it later. You don't have to do it while the computation is going on. Pretty much all of the other work prior to this is based on the idea of testing gates as they happen, or testing various elements of computation as they happen. So this kind of gives an alternate option. Now, if you kind of look at these, it gives you a kind of arms race for this two-server setting, or this multi-server setting. I'm going to combine these. I'm not going to care very much about the number of servers you require. There's some number of servers, they have to communication. So this I'll mention them in a very scientific way, compared to the universe, the sun, number of atoms in the Earth, number of photons, 100 light bulbs per second, and so on. So the first really breakthrough result from Ricard, Unger, and Casarani, if we want to verify a two-gate computation, well, that comes in at 10 to the 2,466, which is significantly higher than the number of particles in the universe. So this is the number of bell pairs you need. And that's, it's a really phenomenal result, and I'm not knocking it. But it's impractical if we want to actually try to use it to verify quantum computation. So if you look at the McCabe scheme, it turns out it does much better. It does much better than the Ricard, Unger, and Casarani scheme, coming in at only 10 to the 52, which isn't too bad. Like, compared to this is substantially less than the size of the universe, the number of particles in the universe. So you can, in principle, be enough bell pairs, within our observable universe, even within our solar system, to be able to implement this. But still, we would really like to get further down. So the first result came in 2012, the result came in 2013. Then, a couple of different groups start looking at, is there ways to improve this? And, is there ways to combine these results with the other type of verification where you have Alice-Doing quantum operations? Maybe you can use this measurement from bell pairs as a way of preparing states, like I mentioned before. Maybe you could use some self-testing from the Ricard, Unger, and Casarani scheme, or the McCabe scheme, or one of the cryptographic self-testing schemes, in order to reduce the overhead. Because in the other model, where Alice can do quantum operations, the overhead is really low. And so it's still linear, so it's really low. So there were some attempts at this. Elham and some of her group tried to use our translate verification scheme with combining it with the RUV result, and they got something like 10 to the 616. So they got a reduction of a fourth root, I think, from the RUV scheme. So that's significantly lower than the overhead advantage. He said that these are with two provers, whereas these lower ones are with much more than two provers, some polynomial number of provers. Okay, so we use similar self-testing techniques that McKay has been using and Blair has been using and so on in a number of different works to use that as a way of checking that you can prepare a particular input state, a particular single qubit quantum state for a server, and then using our trap-based scheme. And if you do that, it comes in, I think, not too bad, actually. It's, a light bulb shines out more photons than it in a second, mostly. Although it's still kind of impractical because it's kind of hard to get 10 to the 14 bell pairs. You would need a really bright laser and a really big crystal, and you need to run for a very long time, and it's basically impractical. Subsequently, the next year, Mazzucato and Nicole came out with this result. I may be being unfair to them. So I've written it in as 10 to the 14, but actually that's just because I copied the number from our results. And the reason I did that is because theirs has the exact same scaling. But I'm not sure if the multiplicative constant in front of it is the same. So both of these protocols scale with the number of qubits to the power of 4 times the log of that number. So n to the 4 log 4. Sorry, n to the 4 log n. So I'm kind of guessing that their number is similar, but it may be that there's improvements in the prefactor, so they may be doing better stuff here. There's also a very nice result that came out just towards the end of last year from Lamberjan and Vidic, and I don't know how it scales. But I think it's good. So it seems quite hard to work out exactly what the scaling is, or at least to work out what the number would be for 2 gates, or at least harder than I was prepared to put in preparing my slides for this talk. But it looks low because they can verify a polynomial number of bell pairs essentially with constant amount of effort. And that seems like it really has the promise of significantly lowering this. So that's why I'm putting it on yellow or green. I'm not really sure whether it brings it to a really truly practical level or not, but certainly it's probably worth looking into. Okay, and that's basically it from me. Sorry, I've kind of run over time. There's a whole load of areas in secure computation that I haven't touched. And if I try to include all of them, some of the original results were in secure multi-party computation, and then in recent years there's been computing on encrypted data, which is kind of related to blind computation, but where you don't try to keep the secret. You don't try to keep the computation secret, just the output. There's quantum versions of homomorphic encryption that are starting to be discovered. There's computing on shared secrets. There's self-testing. There's a huge number of areas that are all kind of in this domain of secure quantum computation. But if I talk about them, I will be here, until next week or something. Okay, so let me conclude by saying the really big open problem in this, at least from my perspective in this field, which is kind of purely classical verifier check that a single quantum computer is producing correct results. So you have a quantum computer in front of you. You want to know the answer to some problem that's within DQP. Can you do some tests with that computer to ensure that you get the right answer if you don't trust that computer at all? So that can be phrased in CS terms and say digital language BQP equal to IT DQP, where these are interactive proofs, where the power of the prover is restricted to DQP. And making it as a precursor problem, we can say is blind computation possible with a purely classical client on a single server? And the reason I bring this up is because almost all of the verification schemes that we've seen are either intentionally blind or get blindness with some unintended consequence. However, there's some very recent results from last month from Aronson and various people in Elon's group arguing that such a result would imply a collapse in the polynomial hierarchy, and so it's unlikely. So you might say, well, maybe this is reason not to look for it. If this is going to imply complexity results, well, we know they're hard. Why even look? Well, maybe we should look because maybe it's a different way of tackling complexity problems. Maybe it is. Okay, so with that, let me finish, and thank you very much for your time. That's more time than I think you have to give. So with these strategies for verification, how can you tell the difference between valid and invalid? You can't. So it is only the computer that they're not checking that Bob is cheating. They're checking that the result is correct. So the reasonable use case for them is to check that the result you get is correct, not how it went wrong. So this raises some issues of how you can make some of these schemes fault tolerant or not, or whether that's possible, because you need to strike some kind of trade-off where you're accepting the fact that a certain amount of environmental noise happens, but you want to ensure that it is sufficiently uncorrelated and sufficiently weak that some inbuilt fault tolerance scheme will be able to take care of that.
Maybe still to a product maybe we can hear his reason whether you pay or this is someone wants to go through the slides again maybe more you can also back later. Thank you for my talk.
Okay, so 15 minutes, for quite some time, so
Probably my introduction will be very basic for most of you because I gave this talk at some point to a broader audience. But just to set the context of what we're going to see today, by the way, the talk is going to be rather light, as the one Zlatko gave 1 month ago, different type of lightness. But, so the context is the famous statement that you find in any textbook devoted to quantum physics, that the outcomes of a measurement do not pre-exist the fact that the measurement is performed. And if you look back in history, probably the first evidence of this statement can be attributed to the Heisenberg uncertainty relations, because indeed these relations say that not all physical properties can have sharp values at the same time, which means that if I measure one of the others that doesn't have a sharp value, then the result is not predetermined. Now, why this is not the end of my talk, and why this is not in the end of many debates, well, there are many reasons for that. One is the stubbornness of some people. The other is that uncertainty relations can be interpreted, should not be interpreted, but can be interpreted as interpretations of the measurement procedure. You remember that Heisenberg himself, when asked to explain this thing to a large audience, he wrote this book, a popular book about this, and then he introduced the famous Heisenberg microscope that is a semi-classical description of how uncertainty arises. It is a perfectly fine phenomenon, but it's not what is meant by Heisenberg uncertainty relations. Also, testing uncertainty relations is a very tricky business because you can easily violate uncertainty relations by a badly calibrated device. Right? If you don't believe me, just think that you forget to turn it on. Right? So your device measuring momentum is stuck at t equals 0. Now delta t equals 0. Right? And then delta t is equal to 0. So you say, well, it's absurd. Well, it's absurd, but it shows you that you need to calibrate your devices very, very well in order to claim that you have verified or checked the uncertainty relation. By the way, it's very hard, in science, to check a negative statement. Like, I cannot do better than this. You know, try to check back and I cannot do better than the exams. Okay, right? So the concluding evidence that, after interpretation of matter, that outcomes not exist is the valuation of Bell inequalities. What is this? Well, I will not even write down the Bell inequality today. I think most of you know what it is, those who don't know, well, can ask me later. The idea here is that experimental interpretation cannot fake a violation of Bell inequalities. The deflection of the yes, but forget about this for the moment. It is theory independent, so it does not rely on the quantum formalism. You need the quantum formalism to know that delta x delta t is largely equal to h power over 2. It could be h power 4, right? It could be delta x larger than something. Why should be a product of two things? No? So here, the Bell inequality does not depend on the quantum formalism, it depends on the classical worldview. They capture the classical worldview, and quantum mechanics falsifies that worldview. Because quite device independent, anyway, it does not derive on a description of what is being measured. Position, momentum, spin, atoms, photons, PEC, whatever. If you see a violation of Bell inequality, you know something. You know that there is entanglement there. You know that there is something non-classical going on. Irrespective of any description of the physical system and degree of freedom under study. It's called Bell inequality because it was first noticed by John Bell in 1964, although you can find Bell inequalities illustrated by Hall in the 19th century. But he presents these as conditions that obviously any probability distribution must satisfy. Because you couldn't imagine that in nature this thing would be violated, right? And as you know, that plenty of experiments have been performed. Since the first conclusive one is traditionally the one of Alain Aspect and co-workers in 1982, and then there's been many until 2 years ago, there were 1 year and a half ago, the report of what's called the Loophole 3, that testing Bell, Vienna, and NIST, plus several collaborators. So that's the story that either you're asking or you know. That's not the story I want to tell you. I want to focus on the fact that measurements do not reveal pre-existing quantum. It's a pretty strong statement. It might be the reason, I don't know, we can go to the logical test later, it might be the reason why many people are still uncomfortable with quantum physics, or the quantum have to explain. In fact, it's also given rise to a lot of discussions, more or less focused. For instance, the field of localism values, we ask why hidden, why local, because quantum physics is not local, now quantum physics is local, but realism is false, and whatever kind of other stuff. But these are pretty civilized discussions, compared to what we would have had, right? Okay, fine, these are things that I made up. Just for the record, right? That it's fake news, okay? Fine, so that's the situation. And so 1964, John Bell, 1982, Alain Aspect, in those years, right, this was more or less the situation. These are the most chaste representation I could find of Ulysses and the Sirens, the mermaids, right? So the mermaids are represented at this birth, and these are tears, we call it in Italian. So here the physicists trying to steer physics ahead, right? And then people interpretation come in and try to stop them, like showing them how absurd is what they're doing. And usual attitude has been summarized as this, shut up and calculate. It's a bit defining slogan, but it's actually the big attitude of many physicists to say, look, don't discuss too much about this interpretation, it doesn't matter. This theory is fantastic, it predicts plenty of stuff. Just compute, you get the right result, that's it. At some point, I don't know who it is, something I'm still quite a lot, right? But at some point, the people that we now associate with the beginning of quantum information started asking questions in a slightly different way. So, okay, yes, fine. Yeah, I want my ship to go ahead. I don't want my ship to get moved there in between the two different slips and whatever. But I think I would like to listen to what these people are saying, and maybe something useful will come out of that, right? Okay, you know the story. The first thing that jumps out useful is this one. Measurement modified the state. Our favorite one for the talk of today is, well, somewhere else there. It's not written as I normally phrase it. Anyway, measurement modified the state, as you probably know, all of you in this audience, is used as the main idea behind quantum key distribution, which is not a very modern topic today, right? So I guess to summarize for those of you who are younger, in quantum key distribution, the Bennett Pascal 1984 protocol, Alice has a source of light, ideally single photons, and sends a qubit, for instance, a single photon including polarization to Bob. Alice can prepare 4 possible states, and Bob can make 2 possible measurements. And the table of statistics is such that ideally, right, if there's no error in the chain, whenever Alice prepares plus Z and Bob measures Z, I get the result plus, minus Z gets the result minus, and when Alice prepares plus X or minus X and Bob measures Z, the result are random. And similarly in the other column. And where does measurement modified the state come into play? Because in the idea is that a character missing here if the eavesdropper is trying to learn what the coding is, or by the way, plus would code here about 0 minus for 1, so that's the coding of the bit. So he is trying to learn whether Alice is sending a plus or a minus, but if there are 2 possible forms of plus, 2 possible forms of minus,